Okay, I've reviewed some web design software before, such as RapidWeaver 6 and also several versions of Flux. This is called EverWeb. It's the latest version at the time of making this review, which is 1.8. It's a drag and drop web design program for Mac. If you have ever used iWeb, which has now been discontinued but was made by Apple themselves, this is like a more advanced paid-for version of iWeb. Now let's open a project up that I've created earlier. Now here you can see I've created a basic home index page, a photo directory, and I'll explain that in a second, and a couple pages. Now before we have a look at all the interface, let's start off by looking at preferences, then I'll go and look at their website to show some of the feature list. Okay, preferences. The way you unlock this program if you buy it, by the way there is a free trial available though, but when you buy it, you enter your account details from their website, your email and password. You don't enter actual serial code. Then as you can see it says I've got a standalone version. The reason it says standalone is because you can either buy it as a one-off fee or you can buy it yearly with unlimited amount of updates and web hosting. And it comes with its own web hosting package, but I'll go into that also again later. You can manage your account from here as well. Use secure publishing. Now let's look at general. This is basically show guides, show hyperlink indicators. Not a lot to see here. Publishing. You have a few options here. I'm not going to go into in great depth, but one thing I will point out is unlike RapidWeaver, this does have, I don't think RapidWeaver does from what I remember, this has optimized PNG files. This optimizes any PNG files and image files you have in your project and optimizes them for use on web hosting. So on the internet they are a smaller file size and optimized so they load faster, so your file isn't huge and then it slowly loads each image and each button and things like that on your website. It will load faster, you'll make your website snappier. The only suggestion I have here is it seems to only do PNG, whereas if you use a third-party program that's free called Image Optum, that you can drag once you've exported your site to a folder, unless you're uploading directly with the program, of course. But if you are exporting your HTML files and that to a folder locally and then uploading manually, you can use Image Optum and drag and drop all of your PNG and JPG files onto the program and it will optimize them all. Unfortunately, even though this has this, which is a great feature, very handy, it doesn't seem to do PNG files. JPG, JPEG files as well. That would be very handy. Then you have backup. Do you want to auto-save? Do you want automatic backups created? And if so, where do you want them put? Okay, now let's have a look at their website. As it says, drag and drop and single-click publishing. Easy website creation. Comes with dozens of themes, mobile theme templates as well. Optimize it for search engines and SEO. Create master pages, asset organization, powerful hyperlinking, including PDFs, email addresses, etc. Drop-down menus. Use Google Web fonts. Picture frames, such as picture galleries. Various shape tools. So you can create your own shapes like circle, and then maybe put some text on top of that and turn it into a custom button. Whatever you want. There's all sorts of shapes like rectangles, ovals, call-outs, boxes, etc. Widgets. It comes with various drag and drop widgets, such as to create your own basic easy contact form, drag a Google map onto your about page, create navigation menus, full e-commerce support, create a Facebook or Twitter like or follow button, Google Plus button, RSS feeds, or maybe if you're creating a blog, YouTube videos, HTML5 audio and video support, image sliders, snippets of HTML code you can drag and drop on, and an image gallery. Plus, it's fast HTML5, so it's not old HTML 4.01, it is HTML5. Let's just take a look at pricing while we're here, because as you can see, in dollars, it's $80, which is around about 50 or 51 pounds. And you just buy it, and you've got your program, use it whenever you want, and it comes with 365 days, so it's a year of product updates. Or if you want a hosting light for $100 a year, you get the program, and any updates that are released during that subscription period during that year. And if you renew it in the next year, you'll then continue to get the new software versions as well. Plus 2 gigs of disk space, 25 gigs of bandwidth, unlimited amount of domain names, password protection, 301 redirects, 404 page not found redirects, email addresses, and EverWeb integration, so it integrates with your account. Unlimited with an active account, so as long as you have an active hosting account, you'll get all the software updates indefinitely as long as you have an active hosting package. Free bonuses. With the program itself, you get SEO for EverWeb video course, and you get that plus website sitemap automator to create your own sitemaps, which is very handy, especially if you want to get on Google and places like that. And then there's a bigger package for $200 a year, which includes unlimited bandwidth and a lot more disk space. So back to the site. Down the bottom here, you have add a page. You click this, it says loading templates. You can create a blank page, a blank mobile page, and I'll explain this later. This is something I don't particularly like, and I'll explain why later. Then you have various templates. You have other templates which may not be downloaded. You can click this and it will download it locally to your computer. Various other templates, and in the templates you have like a basic home. You have a photo gallery template for a photo gallery page, a video page, a shop, contact form, mobile version, as well as a blank version using the theme. You have add directory. Now, this is for examples is a gallery where you have a gallery page. Let me show you. Alright, so basically what you do, if I go here to home, I think it's easier if I show you the menu. We have up here a home button to go back to the index page. We have photos, and from here we get a drop down, and with the drop down you can select one of these 2 pages. So basically it's a way of creating a sub menu of your pages. So this bit here, as you can see over here, is in your navigation menu. So you have home and photos up here, but you don't have all the individual pages clogging up your navigation menu. These are, because this is a directory, these appear as sub menu options. I'm probably not explaining that as clear as I can, but maybe once you see a demo later of the actual web page published, it'll be clearer. Preview, so you can preview in your web browser and it picks up on any browsers you may have installed. Publish, if we click here as continue, website has successfully been published to a directory on your computer. That is because I had that ticked. Now, if I go to, let me show you, edit publishing settings, I have it set to publish to a folder, and this is the directory it's going to. It's going to Documents, EverWeb, Export folder. So when I hit publish, it just rendered the files as HTML and images and folders, etc. But you can also, if you have the package of EverWeb hosting, you can select this, select your account, select a subdirectory if you need to, and publish straight to your EverWeb web hosting account. Or if you're using another web host, you can select FTP and publish directly to FTP if you don't want to put it in a folder and upload using a third-party program. You can also go here and insert code into all your pages, header section, in between the head tags, your footer in basically anywhere before the end body tag. And from here you can select your fave icon, which is what you see in, say, bookmarks, when you bookmark a site and it has an icon. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, then we have a text box. In fact, I think I am very quickly going to create a blank page just to show you these various options without overriding the others. Okay, here's a new blank page. Let's click text box. Here we go. We have a text box just like if you're in Microsoft Word or Apple Pages. You can resize it, do whatever you want with it. And from here you can select your text. Then you can click down here in fonts. It has a standard Apple font dialog box, and you can change the font, change the size, typeface, etc. We then have shapes I mentioned earlier, so you can create shapes like arrows, or you can create, say, this here, maybe put some text on it, hyperlink it. Now what if you want to hyperlink this as a button? We go up here to this little chain icon, which is a common type of symbol for hyperlinks. You can enable hyperlink. As you can see down here, this little symbol shows that it is a hyperlink. We can select another page, so we can say one of my pages, and we could hyperlink to, say, the photos page, or a photography page, a gallery page, or whatever. Or we can link to an email address, so we can say this is to blah 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 at whatever.com and put a subject line in or leave it blank. Or we can link to an external file such as a PDF, or we can put in another website such as www.bbc.co.uk, and we can tell it to open in a new tab. Presumably people these days will be using a tab browser, and if the settings is right, it should open this in a new tab, not actually a new window like it says, but it depends upon people's browsers and settings. But having this ticked will presumably, when this is clicked, open the BBC website in a new tab, so it doesn't overwrite your website that the people are browsing on. So you don't want to lose your visitors. You can change the hyperlink color, rollover color, and visited link color. Then, now I've shown you how to do hyperlinks, let's just see what the main inspector settings here are. This is where you give it a file name, such as home.htm. You can give it a display name for when it's in the menu bar, so you can say this is a home button, that's what people will see up here to click on, or you can say this page is about, and that's what it will say up here in the navigation bar. This is where you give it an actual website title and description. This is for customizing shapes. So if we click on a shape, we see its settings here, including its color. Do you want shadow and various settings and reflections? And like I say, you can change its color here as well. We then have various sizes for the page, including full width. Now, what that is if I click here, it stretches from all the way from the left to all the way to the right side of the web browser's viewport. Obviously, with this sort of button, because basically I've created what I want in the future to be a button, we wouldn't want it to stretch all the way across. An example of doing this would be if I go to the home page. This is our header bar, this is our navigation bar, this is where we have all our home, about, photos. Well, this we don't want to be stopping over here. We want the blue color, the blue transparent color, to go all the way across the person's window from left to right, so we have this ticked. If we don't, as you can see, it's too small, it doesn't go all the way across, so that's a very handy feature. And by the way, we can drag and drop any of these things around. Let me undo that. Allow free dragging, fixed position, various positions and size, information and rotation here. Then we have the text options, so let me find some text. Change its color from here, background fill if you want, line height, various options here, and you can have it export, which is handy, as an image. So people, if it's exported as an image, people can't just click and drag over it and copy and paste it on their site or whatever. If it's an image, it's an image. It's like having an image here. It isn't selectable as text. Then over here we have no shape option. So let's say this here, because this is a HTML widget I've placed on with a hypercard, I've pasted the HTML code into this box here. The same goes with this bit of embed code here for a button, linking to a website. And unless it's a widget or an image, you're not going to get anything here. Here's your assets directory, where you can select images that's in your project, drag them on, or go to your Finder and drag images you want to use, such as this one here, which is one of my own images, not one that came with the program, you can drag it from your Finder window here, ready to use. This is where your widgets are. Let me just get rid of that. Now, let's go to our blank page. We have navigation menu. As you can see, that is basically what was up here anyway. We then have an RSS feed if you want an image gallery, audio, and then you can choose an MP3 file. We have a contact form, Facebook like button, Google Maps map if you want that on your about page, say. Different heading tags, so we can go here and select heading 1 for maybe your main header, or header 3 for a subsection, a subheading, and then we can align it and give it text here. Then we have HTML snippet, which is how I created objects such as a hypercard and linked to these various other websites with their image that they were using a piece of HTML div code that they give you. You could also use this, well, they have a YouTube video button and video here, but you could also, if you needed to, drag this on, paste in an embed code for, say, a podcast audio player, such as a Podomatic audio player or whatever, that way as well. You can create a PayPal button, image slider, Pinterest pin it, Twitter follow me button, a Vimeo video, YouTube video, or other kinds of videos there. From insert, you can also create things like a text box, shapes, widgets, buttons such as an email me button, a Facebook button, a Pinterest button, or made with EverWeb button. Or choose something to insert yourself, such as a photo or whatever. Basic formatting options here. Basic arrange, such as bring to front, bring to back, full width, which I've explained over here before, and flip. Basically your standard sort of options there. You can get to the manual from the help and video tutorials as well, and a discussion forum if you need help. From the menu here, you can also check for new templates if there's any available. You might want to do that when you first install this program, as they won't all be available straight away necessarily. Now, from the inspector under the main page layout options, we have mobile settings. Now, this is what I don't like. RapidWeaver makes a site for you that is compatible with both desktop and mobile layouts. I won't go in too much to that because I'd have to show you RapidWeaver, and if you know RapidWeaver, you probably know what I'm talking about. This is different, okay? We have a home page here. There we go. In fact, I will actually preview this in the browser quickly. Here you go. Now this is a basic front page index file I've made quickly in RapidWeaver, in EverWeb. There you go. Now this is an attempt at recreating, not completely recreating because both of these programs are somewhat theme based, but at making a similar style website to that I have myself on my actual .com. Now here's a website I made in another program. As you can see, I've kept a similar layout. Okay, now here is a sort of a mimic, to attempt at mimicking a similar style, but this one is made with EverWeb. Now actually, what I'm going to show you here, I've resized it. Now this might be how it would perhaps look in a in a mobile phone such as an iPhone. Okay, do you see a problem? Huge problem. The layout's all wrong. the image hasn't resized, the text, the header hasn't resized, it's all off the screen. The buttons have completely gone, the navigation buttons have gone completely. Everything's off the screen, everything's unviewable. You can still use it. If you were on an iPhone, you could hold down and scroll across and find your buttons, but it looks unsightly. Now, look at this one, and look what happens. Yes, because I've changed the header text a bit, it doesn't quite resize properly, but it's usable. But the buttons for navigation have changed into a small drop down that is still visible and we can access at any time. The layout has changed to compact and be viewable still on this stretched out layout, and that goes through all the pages here as well. Everything still looks good on a mobile phone. The image has shrunken down and is still completely visible and isn't off the screen. Then if I go here, there we go. Now let's have a look at EverWeb. What can you do about that if you have EverWeb? You can create a separate page. I know it sounds like a nightmare, and that's why I haven't actually gone through all the trouble of recreating the whole page myself. But you would basically go new page, find whatever template you may have been using, such as this one. This might be actually the one I was using. Then you find the one called mobile, create it, and change it to have all the content of the home page you want in it, such as this information here and buttons and maybe your profile picture. Put it into this one. Change all the layout to mimic this page basically, but compacted. Let's call this actually mobile home. Okay, then how would we make this work? How would we make it use the right one? Well, you go to your main page. Here we go. Then you select one of my pages under mobile settings and select, well, this is a big version of mobile home. Now, if people are on mobiles, it will redirect to this version of your web page. And if they're on desktop, it will use this one. Now, that seems like a lot of unnecessary trouble. You basically, for every page you make, you have to make two versions. And it just seems like a complete nightmare, whereas some other programs, such as Rapid Weaver, you create the home page using one of the templates, such as Split or Tesla, and then you don't create a separate page for mobile, it just works. And that is the big problem I found with EverWeb. The problem with EverWeb is you have to create basically your site twice and figure out how to lay out the site the best you can for a small screen. It's a lot of extra work. It's at least double the work, very time consuming, and a bit of an annoyance. I think really that is a major problem with EverWeb that really needs to be addressed. But apart from that, I do like this program. I haven't quite finished showing you it, but I do like the program. It's very flexible, and if you have come from iWeb, although it's been discontinued, so you might not anymore, but if you've ever used iWeb, and you like iWeb as well, you really, really, really like this, because this is basically iWeb Pro version in a way. If you liked how iWeb did things, you're probably going to like this program too. But to continue a minute, you have header and footer code here, which I showed you in the publishing settings. But when you do it in the inspector here, you can have a different header and footer code for each individual pages, whereas the header and footer code on the publishing section applies that code to every single page in your project. You can also apply website protection here and redirects down here. Okay, do I have any other suggestions for improvements? There is something that Rapid Weaver has that could, in some ways, make it less flexible than this, but I also like it at the same time, which is global styles. So let me show you. I am not trying to really advertise RapidWeaver in this program, and I've done a separate video anyway, but let me just show you what I mean, because it's a feature suggestion for EverWeb. You can go to Master Styles within RapidWeaver and select the same header, same header. You can select the width. You can select to have like blue buttons, a purple hover, and various things like that from over here in the sidebar. Then it is applied to every single page in your project. And then if you want individual settings, you can untick master and it will show you the same settings as in master, but then when you make a change here, it won't change the other pages. So those are the two suggestions. I really think the priority with EverWeb is to get responsive web design kind of integrated into EverWeb, where it's automatic, does it out of the box without you having to create several versions of your entire website. If you have a homepage, you need a separate mobile homepage created from scratch yourself. Then you got an about me page. You need then to create that, then create another about me page for mobile devices and edit it and build it from scratch as well. If you could just create a homepage and an about me page, and it automatically adjusts your page, your layout, your sizes, everything like that to fit from other devices like Rapid does, that would be really handy, and that's a big sort of down point for this program to me. The other suggestion, like I said, is to have global styling like the other program does. But on the other hand, a pro point to EverWeb over, say, Rapid is that it is a little bit more flexible. If you have a theme in RW, you might have this stretched across navigation bar and header here. Then you can select from over here colors, but you couldn't really do much, say, resizing it. Well, in this, because it relies on dragging and dropping objects and shapes and text boxes, you can take this and move it wherever you want, drag it all around, up and down, and untick full width, and then you can customize the size, shape to anything you want at all, which is something you can't really do in RapidWeaver. So you have much more creativity and control over the design of your actual pages. But as always, what I would say is, even though this has some down points and some plus points over other programs, I would say ultimately don't just go by this video. Go to their website, their link will be in the description, and download the trial version and see which you prefer yourself. Luckily, there is a free trial version available. So if you could do me a huge favour and like and comment on this video, and if you could really help me out a lot and subscribe, it would be a great help. Thanks.